Shalom, shalom, beloveds. How y'all doing? Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you're having a blessed, exceptionally blessed and marvelous day. You know what I'm talking about? Most definitely, right? I hope that you are taking your time to be able to love the Father, have an intimate relationship with the Father. You know what I'm talking about? And just have reverence for Him. You know what I'm saying? Love on those who love you. You know what I'm saying? Stand strong in the faith. Know that everything works out. You know what I'm saying? In its due timing, right? So, as I promised yesterday, you know what I'm saying, I had some topics that I want to speak about, right? This one just kind of came in. This is not one of the ones, but this is kind of going into some things that I will be speaking about in these next few days, you know what I'm saying? Aside from that, you know what I'm saying, one thing that I have noticed is that a lot of people, some people, well, not a lot, some people are choosing to die in the wilderness. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not laughing at it, you know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things that just reminds me of the Israelites in the wilderness. You know what I'm talking about? And so I'm going to be able to kind of give y'all, you know what I'm talking about, some definition with it, right? Salaki, excuse me. It feel good. When you rub your eye, it feel good sometimes if it's itching, right? Don't nothing feel better than the itch that need to be scratched. You know what I'm talking about? So, one thing I noticed is that there are people that because they're dying in their own wildernesses, you know what I'm saying, they want you to die in the wilderness with them, right? And so I see that sometimes people do not know what real healing work looks like, and it agitates their souls and stuff like that to see somebody healed. You know what I'm saying? It's very triggering to these people, which is a sad thing. You know what I'm saying? Is because this shows that there is a lack of belief that they even have faith in themselves to be able to arise from those situations. You know what I'm talking about, those storms that have come into their atmosphere, into their, you know what I'm saying, scenario in their life, their trajectory, in order for them to be able to overcome those things. So it's like a faint of heart, you know what I'm saying? And so that's one thing that you can do the most damaging to yourself, you know what I'm talking about, is to not believe that you have the ability to be able to arise and overcome those things that have come against you. You know what I'm saying? Despite of how everything looks in the world, like there are so much things, you know what I'm saying, that come into play, you know what I'm saying? And so we can easily get distracted and lost into the sauce of those many different stews, you know what I'm saying, and then brew in those pots that is not made for us to even cook in, you know what I'm talking about? But yet there we are, you know what I'm saying, sauteed and sizzling, you know what I'm talking about, served up on the plate for the enemy, you know what I'm saying, for the great devourer, right? And so it's sad because there are people that they don't have the faith in themselves. One thing is that that I was reading earlier, you know what I'm saying, earlier this AM, is that let me go to it first. You know what I'm saying? I think that was in Romans. I think that was Romans. Is it Romans 10 or Romans 9? I think so. Let me see. Oh, I think that was Isaiah. My bad. Let me go back. I think that was Isaiah. Because I read around, so y'all excuse me, I be reading around, you know what I'm saying, in many different. And so, no, it had to be in Romans. Let's go back. I should have marked it. I wasn't prepared for this. I just, you know, like I said, this word just kind of came to me. So it's like, let me speak about it, right? Let me see. Where is it at? Okay. Let's see. It's basically it's in Romans, but I can't find it right now because I'm trying to hurry up and get this message out. But it's basically saying that you know what I'm saying, with us doing the works, you know what I'm saying, then faith is seen by those who don't have faith. You know what I'm saying? I don't recall what verse I had, read it in, because I read a few different verses. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I think that was in Romans, if I'm not mistaken, though. Let's see. Righteousness and righteousness, which after the law of righteousness hath attained the law of righteousness. Wherefore, because we sought it not by faith, but it was by the works of the law. But so the thing about it is that uh, with that verse, and I'll end up posting it. You know what I'm saying? I end up posting it because I don't see it right here. And it's irking me because I want to give it to you, right? But I don't see it here. And plus, I'm scrolling kind of fast and trying to get everything, you know what I'm saying, trying to get it all. But regardless, you know what I'm saying, it's a verse that basically talks about that in doing the works of us doing, you know what I'm saying, the works, you know, for people to see it, and it actually encourages, you know what I'm saying, the faith, right? The reason I was trying to bring that verse out is because there are people that have lost faith in themselves, and so because they have demonic strongholds, or there's things that are trying to keep them stagnant, you know what I'm saying, to hold them back. We know that misery likes company, or misery loves company, you know what I'm saying, and so some people don't really see that they have entities that are basically pulling them. And so this is the same thing as the scripture where it talks about, you know what I'm saying, seeing, if you were able to see in hope or whatever, you know what I'm saying, then that hope does not really exist because it's things that's seen, you know what I'm saying. Faith is not something that is seen, you know what I'm talking about. It's something that's believed in, something that is actually able to be shown, like, you know what I'm saying, to be worked, right? Having faith in something, right? And so another thing, because that kind of sounds contradictory, right? It's not. So let me say like this, right? Is that when we operate in the things that we have overcome, then those who see what we have overcome through our testimony are able to gain faith over those things. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, okay, I see that the faith works in you. So it's not like seeing, you know what I'm talking about, on a physical level, but also with the spiritual eye. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. I'm not trying to confuse anybody. You know, some people might be a little confused, but just bear with me because you'll understand, right? I'm trying to squeeze everything into one and just let me air it out, right? So when people have not overcame, you know what I'm saying, certain things, they find themselves, or if they're going through tests in life, you know what I'm saying, they find themselves in the wilderness, right? In the wilderness of life, in these scenarios and these situations that place them in the wilderness. And so people tend to die in their wilderness, not knowing what the wilderness consists of. You know what I'm saying? The wilderness is a place of provision, also a place of growth. You know what I'm saying? It's also a place of tests, you know what I'm saying, and trials. And so because people go through tests and trials in their lives and they have not overcame these things, you know what I'm saying, they've tried many different directions and many different ways to be able to overcome these things, but except for the only way that really will work for them to overcome it, you know what I'm saying? So they find themselves stuck in the wilderness. This is another reason why it says, I think that's in Isaiah, where it talks about that he will make a way in the wilderness, you know what I'm saying? And so, Salakia, the way that's made in the wilderness, you know what I'm talking about, is Hamashiach, you know what I'm saying, being able to have the works thereof within our Salakia, the works within ourselves to be able to do so, right? And so whenever people are whenever they are stuck and stagnant in the things that keeps them, you know what I'm saying, that keeps them stiff-necked, that keeps them with pride and ego and believing in themselves, you know what I'm saying, in a negative connotation, not believing in themselves in a positive way. You know what I'm saying? Like just well, I am God and I am this and I, you know what I'm saying, but not operating with the proper, you know what I'm saying, heart posture. Then they find themselves stuck in these things, you know what I'm saying? And so when they find themselves stuck in these things, they tend to spew their wrath and their hate, or spew, you know what I'm saying, their depression or their sadness, their sorrow, their blame, their doubt, their angst, anguish, all these things, you know what I'm saying, infirmities, afflictions, and all this type of stuff onto other people, right? And so this is why I say that, you know, not why I say, but this is why they say that misery loves company, because there's an entity that's holding on to these people with a stronghold. The fact that a person can feel like that they hate, you know what I'm saying, the thought of something positive or something righteous, you know what I'm saying, the thought of something being able to have love, you know what I'm saying, shows that these people have still a deep-seated programming, you know what I'm talking about, of this demonic matrix that we live in, you know what I'm talking about, or that that we're functioning in, you know what I'm talking about, as many of us are freeing ourselves from it. But many want to be held into it, you know what I'm saying, but they want the spoils thereof of that which is outside of it. So it's like being double-mindedness, you know what I'm talking about, and double-mindedness is a form of, you know what I'm saying, schizophrenia or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and that comes from a little bit of traumas and stuff like this, you know what I'm talking about, and certain imbalances in the life and in the spirit, right? And so whenever we understand this, then we know this is why these people are this way. And so this is, you know what I'm saying, but it's not about just these people. It's about a lot of us. There's a lot of us who we find ourselves in the wilderness, and we did not seek, you know what I'm saying, to be able to come out of the wilderness, right? I seen somebody was speaking, you know what I'm saying, the other day, and they were speaking about how, you know what I'm saying, the conscious community, you know what I'm saying, had totally tarnished, you know what I'm saying, a lot of the relationships, you know what I'm saying, and togetherness of us standing together as a people, as a unity, as a community, right? You know what I'm saying, as togetherness and as we're supposed to be, you know what I'm talking about, being in edification of each other, being in love, kindness, patience, you know what I'm saying, because the enemy knows that whenever you are able to blind people or hold things from them, you know what I'm saying, thus hold the truth from them and stuff like that, then once you give it to them, then they go crazy with it. It's like a person who's never had, you know what I'm saying, $1 million, and then you end up giving them $1 million, you know what I'm saying, and they don't know the first thing that they'll spend it on. They don't know how to invest. They don't know, you know what I'm saying, what to try to, you know what I'm saying, make it to flip itself into more. You know what I'm saying? So they'll just squander it away and do all this extra stuff, you know what I'm talking about. And this is another reason why they have people that are in view of the entertainment industry and stuff like this, who will flaunt these things around to make you feel like that that's the lifestyle that you're supposed to live, you know what I'm talking about. And so many will look to that type of thing and get captivated and lost inside that thing, right? Now I'm using that as an example to be able to explain and expound on what I'm speaking about, as far as what, you know what I'm saying, the sister has talking about within the conscious community, right? It's the same thing, like once you give a person knowledge of self, but they have not done the full workings of self, you know what I'm saying, then they tend to chase those things because it makes them feel like, oh, because I'm knowledgeable and I have this knowledge, I'm the know-it-all, or I have this, you know what I'm saying, this deep perspective, you know what I'm saying, of how things kind of work. So therefore it makes me feel like that I am, you know what I'm saying, a lot more powerful than the creator, you know what I'm talking about. And so when they're not walking into that for real, full Holy Spirit, when they're not walking into, they're only walking into the form of godliness, you know what I'm saying, but denying the power thereof is what that really is, right? And so this is when they tend to just seek for the applaud and the gratification and the grandiose illusion of the things that come into play that makes them feel like that they're whole and that they're walking into something, trying to fill that void, not knowing that the void is still not being filled, right? And so like I spoke yesterday, you know what I'm saying, I had said something to the gist of there are people that will be successful and they feel like that, you know what I'm saying, because they have done certain things in order for them to have situations in control, when they are brought into a scenario where they don't have control and they're not able to submit, then those things fall apart, and then they end up, you know what I'm saying, spiraling out, spiraling out and losing their minds. You know what I'm talking about? And this is how that works, is because they try to fill that void, that hole in their soul, you know what I'm saying, with things that are not conducive to them, things that are not healthy. You know what I'm saying? They had the soul food that they fed themselves off of didn't have any substance. It wasn't weighty. You know what I'm saying? And so therefore, whenever it got time for them to really try to thrive and survive, you know what I'm saying, then they dwindled away, you know what I'm saying, or they fall under pressure and stuff like this, because there's things that is not fully for them that they have fed their spirit off of. We know that the foods that we feed, aside from the foods that we feed our bodies, you know what I'm saying, our physical bodies, you know what I'm saying, there's foods that we're supposed to feed ourselves spiritually. Whenever you run to slander and gossip, and you run to, you know what I'm saying, all this witchcraft and all this type of stuff, and yeah, I'm gonna step on some toes today, that's cool, you know what I'm saying, people get offended and stuff like that, as long as it encourages you to think the right way, right, or to go into a righteous direction, you know what I'm saying. So whenever people do witchcraft, or they, you know what I'm saying, fall into the soothsaying of tarot and all this type of stuff, you know what I'm saying, or consciousness of, you know what I'm saying, feeling like that Egyptian gods and all these practices and stuff like that, but yet those things don't feel these people, because they use these things, you know what I'm saying, to water down, you know what I'm talking about, a lineage or an inheritance, you know what I'm talking about, of ancestry that some people choose to follow it, to claim, right, to be able to claim some type of connection to, you know what I'm saying, some form of that they were great, right? So this is one of those things that's a considerable, you know what I'm saying, portion of being able to have a form of godliness, but lacking, you know, denying the power thereof, right? One thing is that we know that, you know what I'm saying, we are a peculiar people. We are a chosen people, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us are. And so this is another reason why the enemy and the world, and, you know what I'm saying, even ourselves tend to come against us so much, because we see that those of us who are doing the works and that are really walking in the righteous path, you know what I'm saying, will be scrutinized, or there'll be things that war and persecution and hardships that will be hurled against us. These things are, in the spiritual realm, the test. These are the wildernesses that we will walk through, right? But so many conform to those things just for them to try to appease everybody else, you know what I'm saying, that is in their own depression, or iniquities and inadequacies and all this type of stuff, who project these things, you know what I'm talking about, onto other people, because they want to have a mass group of a go along, get along type of society, to bring you right back into, you know what I'm saying, the anti-Hamashiach matrix, or the anti, you know what I'm saying, Mashiach, or the antichrist matrix, right? And so when we see that, this is why it goes back into misery loves company, because a lot of those people that have promoted to be super conscious and all this type of stuff, they tend to, you know what I'm saying, manipulate and trick and use those who don't have the full knowledge, who are seeking, you know what I'm saying, the guidance and the knowledge and stuff like that, and the understanding, and for people to be for somebody to be able to teach them the correct way, you know what I'm saying. Those same people that have been those teachers, or those people, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, have kind of squandered away the community, because they, you know what I'm saying, stepped on their necks and stuff like this, tried to manipulate them for funds and stuff like this, if not manipulating them for sexual connotations, you know what I'm saying, all these type of things, you know what I'm saying, sexual use and objectifying and all this type of stuff, because there's a lot of people that will claim to be that they the 48 laws of Mayat and all this extra stuff, but yet you're doing nothing but witchcraft, sorcery, you know what I'm saying, soliciting your body in sexual manners, you know what I'm talking about, you doing videos with shirts off and skimpy clothes and stuff like this, you know what I'm saying, when you're supposed to really present yourself as something that is upright, but then you say that it's you being spiritually free. You know what I'm saying? So you will put it under all these little facets, or you know what I'm saying, you might have a gift that you can be able to really you know what I'm saying, kind of foresee things, but then you're hiding it under the aspect of tarot, and then get mad when people speak about tarot. And I've seen people talk about, well, tarot is not bad and it's not, but it's familiar spirits. You know what I'm saying? For those who don't know, it's familiar spirits. These familiar spirits that you say that it's the ancestors and all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? The dead is the dead is sleep. You know what I'm talking about? But a lot of people tend to feel like that, okay, because they want to hold on to something outside of themselves. You know what I'm saying? That they're connected with something outside of themselves, so they'd rather connect with the dead. You know what I'm saying? Rather than connecting with the true living Elohim. You know what I'm talking about? The true living Father, the true living God, right? You know what I'm saying? The spirit is a spirit of life. This is another reason why they try to they try to switch it and pervert it in the scriptures as the Holy Ghost. You know what I'm saying? A ghost is something that's dead, but a spirit is something that lives. You know what I'm talking about? Just like we have demonic spirits. This is why whenever you say, it says that the spirit of fear and all this type of stuff, these are spirits that live. It doesn't say the ghost of fear. You know what I'm talking about? And so people will try to connect with things that, you know what I'm talking about, that that are outside themselves, you know what I'm saying, but denying being able to connect to the source, right? And so just real quick, right? Whenever people use familiar spirits and stuff like this, these are the things that they will try to have people to come into agreement with, because those entities will use that person as a channeler to be able, you know what I'm saying, to have the person who is trying to receive the message, or who is seeking some type of form of, you know what I'm saying, premonition into the future, you know what I'm talking about, to come into agreement, you know what I'm talking about. And this is how the enemy works in legalese, you know what I'm talking about. It's illegal spirits trying to work in legalese to be granted access. So you can see people that's like, you know what I'm saying, oh, well, I'm seeing here in the cars that you lost somebody, and I see that there's going to be something, you know what I'm saying? And so then what you do in your mind is you tend to try to align yourself with it to make it be like, okay, it's going to fit, you know what I'm saying? Even if it doesn't resonate all the way, you know what I'm talking about? Just because a few little details are off or whatever, is whenever you tend to be like, okay, well, yeah, I'm still going to make it fit. Whenever you do that, have that type of mind frame, this is you giving that spirit, you know what I'm saying, legal access. Right? So a lot of those people will feel like that, oh, well, you know what I'm saying, it's nothing wrong. And then they'll try to be like, okay, well, there are certain things that, you know what I'm saying, of Christianity, which is wrong and stuff like that, and witchcraft. And we know that there's witchcraft in the churches of Christianity. We know that, you know what I'm saying, that religiosity and, you know what I'm saying, theosophy or whatever, you know what I'm saying, theocracy, you know what I'm talking about, are these things that kind of have a type of spinning narrative, you know what I'm talking about, that the enemy is able to creep into, to, you know what I'm saying, allow people to give or to have people to allow him to have access, you know what I'm saying, into working those things, right? And basically working in the powers that working in trying to have a form of godliness but denying the power thereof, you know what I'm saying. And this is why in 2 Timothy it says, from such turn away. But it's hard to turn away whenever people are feeling like that, you know what I'm saying, these things give them a rite of passage or make them feel powerful, and they feel they feel, you know what I'm saying, empowered by these things, right? So it goes back up to, you know what I'm saying, verse 2 in 2 Timothy 3, where it says, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, you know what I'm saying, covetous boasters, you know what I'm saying, proud blasphemers, disobedient to parents, and unthankful, unholy, you know what I'm saying, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, you know what I'm saying, incontent, fierce despisers of those that are good, right? And so this is how that operates. And so there's a lot of people that don't want to be challenged in certain type of ways. You know what I'm saying? They will talk about everybody else and try to challenge everything else. And then, you know what I'm saying, have all these pieces they want to nitpick and stuff like that. But they haven't for real done the work all the way. You know what I'm saying? And so they get upset and disappointed and be like, oh, well, you know what I'm saying, this is, and the ones that are making a change, they know this. So this is not for those who have dabbled into it, or those who you know what I'm saying, are considering being able to leave it. These are to the ones that are like deep in it, that's talking about that, well, a person talks about the Most High and all this type of stuff, and you know what I'm saying, and then they end up getting offended whenever you speak about tarot. You know what I'm saying? This shows that there is something that's a problem with that. But this goes into the scripture, you know what I'm saying? And but these will be the same people that want to have the element of appearing, you know what I'm saying, to be able to change, but not really being able to change fully. So they'll deny the power thereof, you know what I'm saying? And so this is what I'm saying, that there's people that will be stuck in their wilderness, you know what I'm talking about, and then they want others to die in the wilderness with them, right? So now that we kind of gave a little, you know what I'm saying, synopsis a little bit, you know what I'm saying, we know that when the Israelites were stuck in the wilderness, you know what I'm saying, they could have made it to the promised land. But the reason why they didn't make it to the promised land is because they were, they're complaining, they were complaining, judgmental, you know what I'm saying, a lack of faith, disobedience, you know what I'm talking about. And so they were constant rebelling, you know what I'm saying, against the Most High. The Most High had delivered them into a place for them to be tried and tested and for them to be able to pass, but it is also a place of provision, because from the things that they were stuck into, they wanted out of, right? So now it was in that same place, Salakia, that many, you know what I'm saying, had died in that place, so they never made it to the promised land, right? And I use that, and I say that as this, right, is that there's many of us that, you know what I'm saying, or just many people, you know what I'm saying, that are in the wilderness, you know what I'm saying, and so they, I guess they have this unseen desire to die in the wilderness, because they only came to a certain level of something. So it's like, well, this is where it is, and I'm sticking to this, you know what I'm saying, not wanting to go further beyond, not seeing that, you know what I'm saying, the situation. So it'll be like, people get mad whenever I speak about trying to jump into relationship after relationship, but that's not my problem. That's a you problem, because you don't take time to sit there and be in aloneness, you know what I'm saying, to sit in silence for him to be able to, you know what I'm saying, operate and utilize you. You know what I'm saying? I think that's in Lamentations, you know what I'm talking about. Let me see here. Yeah, that's Lamentations 3:28, where it says, let him sit alone in silence, for the Adonai has laid it on him. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying, those who don't know, the Adonai is the Hebrew word for the Lord, right? So we know that this verse speaks about solitude, a quiet reflection when facing hardships, you know what I'm saying, in that silence. It's because people have been programmed and groomed spiritually to be able to fall in love with the noise and all the distractions, you know what I'm saying? And so this makes them go stir crazy whenever there is no form of, you know what I'm saying, of distraction or entertainment, instead of really just sitting with themselves, right? This is why people will look at me whenever I don't post all the time, you know what I'm saying, or do videos all the time and stuff like that, is because I'm making sure that I'm spiritually grounded. Because most I be like, hey, well, look, you know what I'm saying, don't overexert yourself. I don't start trying to do, because that's one thing that we end up doing, is we'll try to, you know what I'm saying, feel like we'll get lost into, oh, well, I got to do this, and because now it's, you know what I'm saying, and he takes us away from those things to be like, well, look, because the more and more you do that, the more you're going to groom yourself into, you know what I'm saying, seeking gratification and validation from other people, when it's I who validate you, you know what I'm saying, and give you our gratification, who give you the glory. Nobody else can give you the glory. It is only who can give you the glory. You know what I'm saying? And so this is another reason why I fall back and be like, okay, cool. Well, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? He'd be like, okay, well, go ahead and focus on doing this and doing that. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to be able to operate in obedience as well. You know what I'm saying? But this is what I'm saying, right? Is that So many are not used to being able to tolerate themselves in their silence because they have so many voices, the doubt and the blame and the shame, you know what I'm saying, the faults and the failures, you know what I'm talking about, the unhealedness, the unforgiveness, you know what I'm saying, all of these things that operate in those certain factions, you know what I'm talking about, that keep a person, you know what I'm saying, bound to keep the person bound into that thing, you know what I'm saying, of an enemy stronghold, you know what I'm saying, that keeps them yoked, you know what I'm saying, unto that which does not really serve them. So therefore they're not free. They're having a feeling of freedom, you know what I'm saying, but they're not really free. And so they don't see it. It's just like you can you can grow a animal up, you know what I'm talking about, in a zoo, right? And have that and have the animal, you know what I'm saying, be able to roam around to a certain amount of, you know what I'm saying, distance and stuff like that. So the animal thinks that that's as much as it's able to do, you know what I'm talking about. So it feels like it's free, but it doesn't have for real liberation. It's not able to really roam into the wild, into its natural habitat. And so this is what these things have happened, you know what I'm saying, right now in society, that have been invoked and that have been induced, you know what I'm saying, into our lives to try to produce the illusion, you know what I'm saying, which is the matrix of that we are free, you know what I'm saying, or that we are being freed, but yet, you know what I'm saying, we're not being liberated, you know what I'm saying, in its entirety. So we're feeling like that we're free. So those things that we choose to dabble in, those things that will take us away from, and it's fine. Not everybody is going to believe in the Most High, you know what I'm saying. So this is not for those people, you know what I'm saying. But this is for those people that truly are looking for something, you know what I'm saying, that are out looking for something for real outside themselves, you know what I'm talking about, that actually can produce a positive aspect, you know what I'm saying, something that's really conducive to their spirit, you know what I'm talking about. One thing about the wilderness is it's hard for people to let go and release of things because people have become so possessive over things that don't serve them. So they tend to hold on to those things. These will be the same people that end up holding on to relationships that did not, you know what I'm saying, produce any type of good fruit, you know what I'm saying, that does not produce any type of spiritual growth, that does not produce any type of leading them into a proper direction, you know what I'm talking about, and enhancing and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? This is that type of thing because they have been trained to just hold on to what, and so it's like, well, if I let this go, I don't have anything else. But whenever you find yourself into that thought process, then you already are denying the full authority and the power of what you're able to walk into. You know what I'm saying? Those will be the same people that will make fun of people who released everything. You know what I'm saying? That have lived Joseph or Job, you know what I'm saying, or a Jonah type, you know what I'm saying, testimony or trial period, right? And then they can be like, well, you don't have nothing and I have everything, but this is another reason why in scripture it says that, you know what I'm saying, what is it? The poor, whatever, you know what I'm saying, are spiritually wealthy or have more, you know what I'm saying. I'm kind of paraphrasing it because I had read that. I think that's in Proverbs 19, right? Let me go here. Let me go to Proverbs 19 so I can give it to you real, right? Let's see. It's not in this one. So let me shortcut, right? Let me do this. Let me go here and look it up really quick. So that way we can kind of cut down on time. Let me see. Let's see. Yes. So it's like 11:28, where it's basically that that those who trust their riches will fall. You know what I'm saying? And that the righteous will flourish. And so we know that they consider the poor to be the righteous or whatever, right? And so that's one of those things. You know what I'm saying? And so the initial thing that I'm speaking about, right, is that you can be poor, you know what I'm saying, in those things that, as a sense of just being able to be willing to let go of things. I'm not saying just to go ahead and, you know what I'm saying, just give all your all your you know what I'm saying, money or whatever, or, you know what I'm saying, financial stability. But the thing what I'm saying is this, or however what I'm saying is that there's times that we are called to release those things that don't serve us, those things that we put above the Most High. You know what I'm saying? That's another reason why relationships, because many people have we operate in a world where people use and manipulate, you know what I'm saying, knowledge and fortune and, you know what I'm saying, fame, or any form of, you know what I'm saying, gratification, you know what I'm talking about, just to be able to get their hooks into people's backs, you know what I'm saying, to keep people underneath them, you know what I'm saying, via manipulation or whatever, right? And so because they do that, you know what I'm saying, to lure people into those things, then it becomes that so many things become watered down. We know that there's churches that have pastors that will use the word, you know what I'm saying, of the Most High to be able to try to manipulate and sleep with those in the congregation, you know what I'm talking about, and then have a full assembly of mess and strife, you know what I'm saying, and wickedness, you know what I'm saying, acts of deviancy, because they don't believe that the Most High really exists. Some of them have believed that the Most High exists, but then they have let that power get to their head. They have felt like that, okay, well, now I have power, you know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying, the Most High surely weighs the hearts of man, and this is the thing about it, you know what I'm saying? He will allow you to go through certain things to see what you will do with it, and then he will also allow you to go through certain things to not to not have certain things, Salakia, to see what you will do for it, right? If you'll be like, well, it's cool, I'll release it, or I don't need it, or, you know what I'm saying, well, I'll work harder towards being able to attain that thing, you know what I'm talking about, so you can get to that promised land, right? And so many will die, you know what I'm talking about, in their wilderness, right? We know that let me go here. Well, let me not jump ahead of myself, because I was already going to say this. We know that whenever we look in Revelations, I think it's Revelations 12, you know what I'm saying? In Revelations 12, where it speaks about the woman growing wings, you know what I'm saying? And as she's growing wings, you know what I'm talking about, then she flies to the wilderness, right? Now, deeper insight into that verse, or that, you know what I'm saying, that scripture, is that what people don't realize is that the reason why the woman sprouted wings and flew into the wilderness is because the woman is Yashrael, which is Israel, right? And so because she has overcame that thing, you know what I'm saying, then she went back into that thing which she has overcame, because she knows that she can overcome, that she can, that won't affect her. The dragon is the thing that's pursuing her. You know what I'm saying? She has not overcome the dragon. You know what I'm saying? So therefore she's flying in, she has wings and she's flying into the thing that she has overcame. Right? So for those who don't really understand all the way, we'll go to Isaiah 40 and we'll go to Isaiah 40 and 31, right? And so Isaiah 40 and 31 says, but they wait on the Adonai, and he shall renew their strength, right? And they shall mount up on wings as eagles, and they shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint, right? And so this is showing that the wings, you know what I'm saying, is the success, is the renewing of the strength that is given, right? So they know that they're stronger. So therefore, or well, she knows that she's stronger. So the wings that she has gained, you know what I'm saying, as eagle wings, you know what I'm talking about, she has that strength, and she has flown into the wilderness to the things that she has already overcame, because she knows the test of that atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? Then also in Isaiah it says that I will make a way for you through the wilderness. You know what I'm talking about? And so we see that is that she's overcome that thing, and this is the nation. This is Yashrael. So there's people that are able to have overcame that wilderness. You know what I'm saying? And then that go back into the wilderness. You know what I'm talking about, to escape certain things. You know what I'm saying? But this is what I'm saying is that those who have survived the wilderness do not die in the wilderness, but those who are surviving, or not, but those who are surviving and thriving in the wilderness, you know what I'm saying, that are overcoming. Those who are not able to overcome, those who are, you know what I'm saying, those who are the ones who have made it very challenging and choose to die there, to make whatever excuses that they want to make in life. Those who are not really spiritually accountable or physically accountable, you know what I'm saying, that, oh, I made this mistake and this is why I'm in this situation, or yeah, this situation is unfavorable, you know what I'm saying, and so I want to find a way to get out of it, but you know what I'm saying, let me go ahead and try to do whatever I can to be able to ensnare people, or to focus over there and take the focus off of me, you know what I'm saying. So therefore I feel like that I'm gratified and be able to speak about some deepness and depth, you know what I'm saying, to some form of faction that makes me feel like that I am liberated, but it's a false ideology or a false feeling, you know what I'm talking about, of a real spiritual liberation, because I don't really want to do the work. So therefore, anybody that does the work, I'm going to end up being like, okay, you know what? I don't want to do that, and that's too hard, and you know what I'm saying? But that's the thing, is that, you know what I'm saying, the success and the goal comes to those who work hard for it, who train for it. You know what I'm talking about? You're going to fight through many different things in life, regardless of if you choose to fight or not. You know what I'm saying? Life is going to continue to be lifing. You know what I'm talking about, for anybody. And that's the thing. There are many people that have overcome many things, you know what I'm talking about. And so as they've overcome those things, they realize that the more of adversity and challenges that they have faced, you know what I'm talking about, in their path, has made them stronger. Now there are some that you know what I'm saying, have developed a victim mentality that's like, oh, woe is me, kind of like Eeyore, you know what I'm talking about, on Winnie the Pooh. Oh dear, here I am again in the wilderness. I'm a victim and I don't care about love. I don't care about all that type of pity party stuff, where everybody is like, well, dang, you know what I'm saying? You should not cast it on yourself. But because the enemy does so many things, you know what I'm saying, to keep people ensnared, and they don't see the way that they're ensnared into the wilderness, you know what I'm saying, many will die in their wilderness. Because they'll constantly complain, point fingers, don't want to do the work. They don't want to bear the fruits, you know what I'm talking about. And this would be like the same equivalent to the fig tree, you know what I'm talking about. When Yahushua was like, basically, he was looking for fruit from the fig tree and it didn't produce. So, you know what I'm saying, he ended up cursing it and it died. Because it didn't produce. It was made to produce. Right? But so many are so scared of being able to really produce, you know what I'm saying, something that is of a greatness, something that is actually of a purpose, you know what I'm saying, something that is going to produce, to be able to make room, to utilize for their gifts, to be able to make room for them, you know what I'm saying. This is another reason why testimonies can be so powerful and so strong, because in that wilderness, the Most High works in a very like big way, to where he will allow you to be broken, right? In order for you to be able to receive a breakthrough. He will break you to give you a breakthrough. He will be able to allow you to be broken, and then he will put those pieces back so intricately that you look almost the same, but more beautiful. You know what I'm saying? More pristine. And that people cannot deny people cannot deny his works. They'll be like, well, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, it's just something about you, but it's, man, and all that stuff, and dang, and here you know what I'm saying? So nobody can be able to take the glory, because if somebody was able to help you repair and rebuild you, they'll be like, oh, it was me who did it. So therefore now it denies you of being able to have the power of glory inside yourself, you know what I'm saying? For him to be able to be like, I did that, look at what I created. For it to be able to be the faith that is seen, you know what I'm saying? To believing in something that is unseen, but doing the works thereof. So other people who have lost the faith in themselves knowing in that of being that era of being broken, you know what I'm saying? Know that they can also themselves too be repaired. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that there is a creator who can do the work, you know what I'm talking about, within us, you know what I'm saying, and through us, you know what I'm talking about, and through Hamashiach, you know what I'm saying, which is inside of us, you know what I'm saying, within his likeness, his essence that is inside of us as a quintessence of the grand design of whom he is, you know what I'm saying, what he has given us through the Ruach, you know what I'm talking about, the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, right? And so for him to perfect that thing inside of us and to show and to be able to encourage, this goes back into what I was trying to say earlier, and that's part of the testimony, is that he will allow you to go through the wilderness of things that will break you, you know what I'm saying? Know that just because those things have probably broken you or whatever, that you are not broken, because you can be fixed. You know what I'm saying? It's only we have free will, right? So it's only free will of a people that have dealt with things that broke them and that want to remain broken, because they see that being broken gives them the attention, or it gives them, you know what I'm saying, some form of a gratification, you know what I'm talking about, gratification or justification for those things that they get, because, you know what I'm saying, some people get sympathy and empathy with pity, you know what I'm talking about, and they like that because it makes them feel like that they're alive and that they're being seen, but that's the only level that they want to be seen at. They don't want to be seen as healed and restored and repaired and strong and walking in their authority. So that's another reason why they'll be like, there are people that will facade around like that they have the power, you know what I'm saying, of the Spirit, or have the power, you know what I'm saying, of the Most High and stuff like that. But then whenever certain storms come, then they shake, they get wavery, and they fall, and they, you know what I'm saying, and they're like, oh, I'm not, woe is me, and stuff like that, instead of really getting up and commanding that situation. Like, this is not gonna break me. You know what I'm saying? Many things, because the more and more that you continue to go through those things, you know what I'm saying, and grow through those things, the Most High will most definitely, you know what I'm saying, take you to another place. When we always say that it's a thing that's new levels, new devils, right? And so this means that, you know what I'm saying, the attacks are going to continuously come at you, you know what I'm saying? There'll be rest periods, you know what I'm saying? In the rest period, there's restoration, you know what I'm talking about? And so in that restoration is preservation in what is it? In that restoration is preservation, and then also, you know what I'm saying, reservations for you to be able to grow, you know what I'm saying, for you to be able to sit in that silence and to be able to receive more strength, because now the things that come against you, that's going to be in multiple, you know what I'm saying, and many more than what you had faced in the previous time, you know what I'm saying, those things are not going to break you. Those things are only permitted in order to create a little bit of resistance so you can get that much more stronger in the spirit. It's not going to be a continuous thing where people is just like, well, I'm always under, you know what I'm saying, spiritual warfare. Yeah, the attacks are going to come, because it says the weapon says that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. So the weapon is going to form, you know what I'm saying, but it won't prosper. There's got to be weapons, because in Romans 8, you know what I'm saying, in 28, that all things work for the good of the glory of the Father, you know what I'm saying. saying? So this means that he turns those things around. This goes back into Ephesians 3 and Ephesians 3 and 12, you know what I'm saying, where it says that in whom we have boldness and confidence, you know what I'm saying, in Christ, you know what I'm saying, that we faint not at the trials and tribulations of our testimonies, you know what I'm saying, of the trials and tribulations that have been given unto us, you know what I'm saying. So this means that those things are come to for us to be tried, you know what I'm saying. We are tried through the fire, we are tried through certain things in life, but he knows that we're able to handle it. He's not going to give us anything that we can't handle, you know what I'm saying. There's always a way out. He will always provide a way out. But whenever people feeling broken and they're stagnant and stuck into those things of comfortability, or the things that they just want to just, I'm good here, you know what I'm saying, I don't see myself going, because it scares me that there's a vision that's so big that I can even attain that vision, you know what I'm saying. So now it scares me that I can be able to achieve that thing, you know what I'm saying. So now I don't have faith in myself, or I don't feel like that I will be strong enough to even hold that mantle, you know what I'm saying. Whenever the Most High is like, all you got to do is walk with me and I'll give you the strength, you know what I'm talking about. When Elijah was going through the trial of him fighting against, you know what I'm saying, Jezebel or whatever, he was strong enough to be able to have slain 450 false prophets of Baal, right? And only because one, that Jezebelic spirit was like that, okay, by the morning time that you're gonna die, that was not his Elohim, that was not his God. But yet he believed in that, you know what I'm saying. He believed what she was saying, so he fled and was scared, right? So he ended up going into the wilderness. You know what I'm saying? The thing about it was what he really needed was to be fed, and he needed rest. This is what I'm saying, that preservation and that restoration, you know what I'm talking about. And so to be fed and to be rest and to have rest, you know what I'm saying, in order to him to be able to regain strength, because he was already strong, but because he started doubting. It's the same thing like Peter, you know what I'm saying, walking on the water, you know what I'm talking about, with the Mashiach. But then he started, everything around him kind of, you know what I'm saying, and it's because now he started feeling like that he was not able to do it, like, well, I shouldn't be. So now he ended up sinking. You know what I'm saying? And this is the mentality that many people have, you know what I'm talking about, in these times. But the thing about it is that so many of us have been looking for things outside of ourselves to try to function with and try to be able to gain our power and restoration, but we're giving our energy and our power to those who are not really walking the walk, those who don't really care about us for real, those who pretend like whatever and they just care about the likes and the followings and stuff like that. I know I said yesterday about this might not get too many views and stuff, and some people was thinking that, you know what I'm saying, oh well, he probably don't do too much because he's worried about the views. I've been doing this for a minute, you know what I'm saying, regardless if it's on the mystery school or if it's on my determination overruling negativity page. It's not many views on a lot of these videos, but the thing about it is I get up and I still do it. You know what I'm saying? It's easier to be like, you know what, I don't want to do it, but there's also things that I do, you know what I'm saying, because I do have a life. My life is not, you know what I'm saying, these apps. That's another thing. I take my time to be able to give pieces of me to those, you know what I'm saying, who feel like that there is something more to life and that they need a form of inspiration, because I didn't have that whenever I was on the other side and I was just scrolling and feeling like, well, dang, you know what I'm saying? And then it was times when people was giving me life and stuff like that, and certain things that they were saying, it was a little bit offensive. I was like, well, dang, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it opened my eyes like, well, you know what am I going to do to go ahead and, you know what I'm saying, and make that to where they can't say that, to make that to where it's proven that it's something different about me. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get up, I'm going to walk the walk, I'm going to bear my cross, and I'm going to go ahead and walk that walk with my cross. You know what I'm talking about? Whenever you bear your cross and you pick up your mat, you know what I'm saying, and you go ahead and you run, you walk, you know what I'm saying, then you have the strength, you know what I'm talking about. So there's things that you're going to be able to overcome. Things are going to come against you and stuff like that. It's going to seem like that it's not the popular thing to do. We live in a world where the 1% knows that, and you know what I'm saying, I was going to wait to give this game, you know what I'm saying, at a higher altitude, you know what I'm talking about, of where I'm going, because I know I'm in my season. My season is right there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to deny and sit here and be like, well, that's not my mentality. My mentality is in the past I've done that, you know what I'm saying? But my mentality is like, I know it's here because I can feel it, you know what I'm saying? I was not expecting it to be at a certain time. There's times where I was expecting it, okay, we should have came by now, but there's times when it's like, you know what, I know it's gonna come because he promised me that it's gonna come. So therefore I'm gonna sit, you know what I'm saying, and I'm gonna go ahead and sit in the silence, absorb what I need to, go ahead and self-check, you know what I'm talking about, to elevate, to be able to medicate myself on the word, you know what I'm talking about, not those things of the world, in order for me to be able to get myself in preparation for the destination of where he's going to hurl me towards, right? And so, you know what I'm saying, amidst of that, with what I've just said is this, right? Because wait a minute, let me see here. I'm going too fast. Let me see. Because before I said that, dang, that thought, it'll come back. Because it was a thought, I should have just said it right then instead of just going on my little tangent. So y'all excuse me. You know what I'm saying? But I get so fired up, you know what I'm saying? There's many who have not really walked the walk, and so they're looking, and I said something to as far as like with the views or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I think it was something to just you know what I'm saying, of what I was trying to initially say within that little segment was that, you know what I'm saying, you don't worry about what it does not look like. You know what I'm saying? Just know that it's already there. Know that it's already there in the spiritual realm. That, you know what I'm saying, because people will talk about, you know what I'm saying, spirituality and all this type of stuff, and they will only talk about certain practices. People can't really get deep into the meat of certain things. It'll be like, you know, I seen somebody that was speaking about one thing. They was talking about that spiritual spouses. They were saying that, you know what I'm saying, in a dream that the person was changing or whatever, and they were saying that they didn't mean that means that you're not supposed to be together or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now the person has good intentions, but the thing about it is that if we're really being for real, you know what I'm saying, whenever you have a dream of a spiritual spouse, that is a spouse that has been sent by a marine kingdom spirit, you know what I'm saying, in order to try to have certain stagnancies and blockages in your physical life. You know what I'm talking about, for those things to not work. So you can dream of a person or have a spiritual family, and therefore you can actually have a real family in the physical, right? And because you don't know how to get up and denounce the powers of those things, to cancel those out, you know what I'm saying, and pray against those things, then now you have a relationship problems and issues and stuff like that, and wondering where it comes from. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you have a dream of somebody that's a spouse or whatever, or a person that you may know, and they're changing, they don't look the same or whatever, this is a witch. Witches shapeshift. They can't hold their form in that realm. They're using familiar spirits, because the familiar spirit is what you feel familiar with. This is why you recognize that person as your mother or your father or your lover, or, you know what I'm saying, whatever, is because, they were familiar to me, but they just look different, because that's a familiar spirit, and a witch was using that, which was as well, you know what I'm saying, or a warlock or whatever. They were peering in there to try to get some type of form of information from you, or to test the waters to see where your weak points are, you know what I'm saying, so they can go ahead and go back and report, you know what I'm talking about, to those who have sent them, or to whom the covenant that they operate in or whatever, and how to be able to use dark magic against you, you know what I'm saying, those things, you know what I'm talking about. The reason that the marine kingdom is so prevalent is because we know that aside from the flood, we also know that marine kingdom spirits use like the marine, you know what I'm saying, waters and stuff like that. We know that our body is filled up of like 75%, if not 80 or 90% water, right? And so whenever we are sleeping, you know what I'm talking about, then they try to be able to gain access into us, you know what I'm saying? And so whenever we give legalities, this is why those spirits are able to have that much more, you know what I'm saying, authority or whatever, power in our lives, so they'll try to attack us in dreams and stuff like that. People think that it's a joke and it's a game, but it's really deeper than what people think it is, you know what I'm saying? If marine spirits, you know what I'm saying, did not operate or were so prevalent, you know what I'm saying, then we wouldn't have a thing that the government operates off of, what's called maritime law, you know what I'm saying. You wouldn't be born by a doctor, you know what I'm saying, doc, you know what I'm saying, a document, having a document or a docket, you know what I'm saying, which is something that has to do with the water. You know what I'm talking about? A ship, a relationship, you know what I'm saying, a sponsorship. These are ships that have to do with the water. So we see that the marine kingdom is a lot more deeper, you know what I'm saying? And so there's another reason why the beast system has parts of high marine spirits that is inside of it as well, for those who don't really see it for what it truly is, you know what I'm saying? And so this is why we can be born into sin, you know what I'm talking about, whether it be SSN, Social Security number or whatever, you know what I'm saying, or born and given unto, you know what I'm talking about, a system, because some people don't know that they signed the rights of way, because it's called selling your soul, as they have you stamp your feet, you know what I'm talking about, on those the birth certificates or whatever, the soles of your feet. So it's considered to be selling your soul, you know what I'm talking about. So it's like you're in agreement as well. And it's also because it's your bottom of your feet, it's like that you're standing in agreement with that thing. But this is just on like a law type of ordeal. But I'm speaking about that the marine kingdoms are very prevalent and they're very crafty, you know what I'm saying? So they use it in the spiritual, they use it in the natural, you know what I'm talking about. And so some people don't see it as that, but this is another reason why, like I'm saying, going back into the dream thing, you know what I'm saying, that those are marine kingdom spirits. They try to have access to you. They try to have legal rights unto you, trying to feed you in the dream. Whenever you having dreams about eating food and stuff like that, they're trying to feed you, you know what I'm saying, in order to be able to Salakia, in order to invoke sicknesses and stuff like that upon you, you know what I'm saying. They have a wide array of things that they use, you know what I'm talking about, to be able to stagnate people or to be able to operate in legalese, you know what I'm talking about, against the people. Because we know that in the spiritual realm there's authority and there's order and there's law. So right now in the physical realm there's authority, there's order, and there's law. You see that? And this is the reason why we use those terms, because those terms are also used in the scripture. It talks about legalese, you know what I'm saying, spirits of legality and stuff like that in Lamentations. You know what I'm saying? It speaks about these different type of things, you know what I'm saying? And so people don't see it for what it really is. So therefore, it gets to the point where it's like, well, it's too much for me to be able to learn or to even care about. So I just live in comfortability, or I'll be comfortable in what seems cool to me or what I feel like resonates with me, right? And what ends up being that type of thing that people resonate is the thing of, you know what I'm saying, we have fake conscious people talking about, you know what I'm saying, king and queen, but don't even look at you like a king or a queen, and look at you as, you know what I'm saying, as, you know what I'm talking about, as a peasant, or, you know what I'm saying, as somebody that's beneath them, you know what I'm saying, as a FB, or, you know what I'm saying, a PB or whatever, you know what I'm talking about, and all these type of stuff, you know what I'm saying. They just look at you, you know what I'm saying, as a whore, or, you know what I'm saying, you just you know, just you nothing. They look at you like that. So then we end up having that to develop into, you know what I'm saying, these things that are of a divide and conquer, you know what I'm saying. Oh, well, I'm more knowledgeable in this, and so now let me go ahead and, you know what I'm saying, let's go ahead and treat the men like they're nothing, or treat the women like they're nothing, and bash them and talk about that it's all about the supreme mother and all this type of stuff, and it goes into a form of feminism. So therefore we are still turned against the man, because we don't really need a man, because that's really what that stuff spawns from, and that stuff spawns from Hinduism. You know what I'm saying? And so people don't really get it. They don't see it for what it is. You know what I'm talking about? Because then that goes into Shiva and stuff like that. And, you know what I'm saying, the destroyer. And then, you know, you have Isis, and, you know what I'm talking about, Ishtar, which are all kind of the same. And it's talking about the queen mother and all this, and people who don't. So then it's like, you know what I'm saying, people that's like, oh, well, we believe in the queen mother and all this type of stuff, and then, you know, they don't even know how to really treat a woman, or they're belittling themselves and make it seem like, and just giving praise, you know what I'm saying, but denying the fact that there is a creator that has created everything, because they use that for them to be able to have authority, or to deny accountability, or to be able to manipulate and use, you know what I'm saying, whoever and however they can, just for them to be able to live a lifestyle of, okay, well, people are supposed to cater to me, I don't have to be accountable. Or, you know what I'm saying, same thing with these men that's talking about, you know what I'm saying, Hotep and that they gods and all this type of stuff, only for them to have so many women flocking to them and then treat these women like they're nothing and worthless. So now whenever these people are trying to really seek and search for real relationship, you know what I'm talking about, with real people, you know what I'm saying, then it's hard for them to be able, because now it's more induced trauma. They have been used, they have been manipulated, so now it's hard for them to trust. This is another form of destiny blocking. You know what I'm saying? Where people have went into trying to deal with these type of people and stuff like that. And because they were so ensued into these people and stuff, or ensued by these people and so enamored into these people, you know what I'm saying, then that was the Most High really had for them, you know what I'm saying, they weren't able to really see it and focus on it. So now that was a form of the enemy, you know what I'm saying, using marine kingdom spirits and spiritual spouse and stuff like that to block them of the pathway of those who the Most High really set up for them. You know what I'm saying? To help to be conjoined to them on their destiny, to be equally yoked with them. So now it's like, okay, now, you know what I'm saying, the spouses that has been ordained for them is blocked, and then the destiny that they're supposed to walk on, you know what I'm saying, has been blocked. So this is a form of destiny blocking. People don't see it like that, you know what I'm saying? And so you don't have people that's really going to tell you that. It's not going to be too many people that are going to be in the churches that really tell you the depth of how these marine kingdom spirits, how these demonic spirits operate and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Spirits of lust and stuff like that, you know what I'm talking about? Incubus and succubus spirits, you know what I'm saying, that have been invoked and induced through a lot of these different practices, you know what I'm saying? Because that's where that hypersexuality comes from, is those spirits. Those spirits desire to be fed, you know what I'm talking about. The succubus spirit feeds off of, you know what I'm talking about, feeds off the essence, you know what I'm saying, the quintessence that a man, you know what I'm saying, spills, you know what I'm talking about, his seed, off the man's seed, right? That's where she gets her energy from. And so she gets her energy from that and becomes that much more powerful, you know what I'm saying, in order to be able to entice and continue to, you know what I'm saying, to entice and lure and create more lust, you know what I'm talking about. Then you have the incubus spirit, which will do whatever with whoever, you know what I'm saying, is because it starts to use ritual sex magic and stuff like that, sacred energy exchange magic, you know what I'm talking about, whether it be something that is of a oral or anal or whatever, you know what I'm saying. But we know that, because I've spoken about that, you know what I'm saying, you know, in a whole nother video, you know what I'm talking about. Y'all can go back and look at that video for you want the full details of that part of it, you know what I'm saying. But this is why that for people who don't believe that really works, is that this is why we have celebrities that have operated in those things, you know what I'm talking about. And this is why they have been hurled into stardom, because they had to do certain sacrificial rituals that pertain to them doing sexual acts and stuff like that through the incubus spirit. You see that? So this is what I'm saying. It's a lot of spirits, and not the incubus ghost, the incubus spirit. So that means that spirit is alive and roaming, right? So this is why I'm going back into saying, as far as when it says in here, like the Holy Ghost or whatever, it's the Holy Spirit. You know what I'm talking about? But regardless, those are the things, is that people have been lost in you know what I'm saying, spread so far apart, spread wide and thin, you know what I'm saying, not really knowing. And then whenever a person really speaks about some things that's truthful, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to be, and they don't want to have that conviction. You know what I'm talking about? That conviction shows you that you have the Holy Spirit inside yourself. Because if you haven't been convicted by it, then it means that, you know what I'm saying, you don't care. There's no spirit of holiness in it. It's just like, okay, it's just like you telling somebody that, you know what I'm saying, is a PDF file, right? That, oh, you know what I'm saying, being a PDF file is wrong, and they looking like, don't care. They don't have, there's no form of holiness inside that person. You know what I'm saying? It's like trying to tell a person that murdering is wrong, and they don't feel any type of form. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? That shows you that there's no form of holiness there. You know what I'm saying? The Most High cannot dwell where there is, you know what I'm saying, no presence of him. You know what I'm saying? There's no fingerprint of him. You know what I'm talking about? So whenever you feel convicted about things, you know what I'm saying, the conviction is supposed to come because spirits, we're supposed to be tested. The spiritual realm is a lot of testing and battling and stuff like this, and strength, and you know what I'm saying, it's a collage of many different things, you know what I'm talking about. And so we are tested and tried by the fires and tried by the spirits. This is why we have discernment. If we didn't have discernment, then we wouldn't be able to be tested. If we didn't have discernment, you know what I'm saying? If he did not give us discernment, then it would mean that we were not supposed to be tested. It's just that simple. You know what I'm saying? Discernment is a form of we're supposed to be tested in certain things. You know what I'm talking about? And so whenever we see it as that, then we have to keep in mind that the test is going to come. But we should not be able to succumb to those things that we denounce the power thereof, or also just be able to want to just die in our wilderness. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that's very crazy, is that we are in the times of where many things are unraveling and many things are happening on purpose in order for the Most High to be able to show us that, hey, look, you know what I'm saying? I'm finna make my presence known. I'm finna do my big one for y'all. You know what I'm saying? And so as soon as I'm finna do my big one for y'all, y'all gonna be able to see, and I'm gonna be able to help out. You know what I'm saying? But I need you to be able to depend on me, because I've taken you out of the wilderness before. I've allowed you to get into the promised land, but the enemy wants you to backtrack, to go right back into what sucked you in, to go right back into your Egypt. You know what I'm saying? To die in your wilderness, you know what I'm saying? To give you the ideology that you're going to go back into your Egypt, but to kill you in your wilderness. You see that? And so a lot of people, they like that. They want to be in that. But there's a lot of people that, you know what I'm saying, that don't know that they're in their wilderness and that they're dying. It could end up being, you know, you could be in relationships, or you can be doing drugs, or you can be in, you know what I'm saying, pornography, all this different type of stuff. You can mess around in you know what I'm saying, hypersexual relationships, or, you know what I'm saying, you can be in just in sin, hustling or whatever, you know what I'm talking about. And these things are your wilderness. You know what I'm saying? These are your trials. How you overcome those things, you know what I'm talking about, is going to be the testimony, because it's the test, the trial, the test. How you overcome it is going to be your testimony for you to be able to speak the faith in the life into somebody else who is going through that same season in their wilderness. You know what I'm talking about? It might not be the same season that you are going through, but as you've overcome that season, then you can do like what it says, you know what I'm talking about, in Revelation 12, as far as the woman, you know what I'm saying, growing wings and then flying back into the wilderness, or flying into the wilderness, you know what I'm saying, to evade the devil, you know what I'm talking about, or the dragon, right? Because she gained wings, a renewing of strength, to go back into that thing where she knows she had conquered already. The thing about our testimony and our trials, and the whole point of us going through the wilderness, is for us to be able to utilize the gifts that we are given in the midst of that thing, you know what I'm saying, to be able to give it as admonition to the Father. What he wants us to do with that gift is to help each and everybody else out. You know what I'm saying? This is what the charity is. This is why that's the most important, you know what I'm saying, law, you know what I'm saying, is charity. Many people say that, you know what I'm saying, that there should be no other, you know what I'm saying, Elohim above him. Most definitely. But if you do not have any love and reverence for him, you know what I'm saying, love and reverence, love is the charity. So if you don't have any of the love, then you're not going to have any reverence for him, and you're not going to be able to not put anything above him. You're going to try to put everything else above him. You see how that works? So that's what I'm saying. So it's a major thing, you know what I'm saying, is that you want to be very careful and cautious in this season. You don't want to be able to give out and allow, you know what I'm saying, many who are desiring to truly die in their wilderness, to choke out your dream, you know what I'm saying, to choke out your purpose, to choke out your calling, you know what I'm talking about, and keep you stagnant, because there are many people that don't really see it, you know what I'm saying, and they won't want you to grow. This is why whenever you tend to want to grow and want to do better and stuff like this, you're going to have a lot of people that come against you. Oh, you think you better than us, or who is you trying to, you know what I'm saying, who you think you are, all this type of stuff, you know what I'm talking about. And that's why. Is because they see that you're a reflection of something that they know that they can really be able to do, but they don't really require, or they don't really aspire or desire to do that thing to be able to change, because they like the familiarity and the comfort of the wilderness. You know what I'm saying about? So they don't want to overcome that thing. Some things have a stronghold, so it's hard for a lot of them to overcome that thing, because they don't have eyes to be able to really see beyond what's really going on in front of their face. You see that? And so this is another reason why, whenever I was speaking earlier, talking about, you know what I'm saying, by us doing the works of the faith or whatever, you know what I'm saying, for people to be able to see how it transpires in our lives, then this will give them some type of inkling or light to shine, for it to dawn on them, to be like, oh, you know what? there must be for real be a way out. Because then his word doesn't travel back. His word does not return back void. You know what I'm saying? He will always provide a way out, whether it be a way that he does in somebody's life miraculously, or whether he does, you know what I'm saying, his workmanship, you know what I'm talking about, through Mashiach within us, you know what I'm talking about, which has been perfected, you know what I'm saying, for us to be able to have the testimony, for us to be his glory, to be able to use to glorify us in the situation, for us to glorify him, you know what I'm talking about, to show that, hey, there's a way. You see that? It's a lot more deeper than what people think. Sometimes people just look at it, you know what I'm saying, and look at the scriptures and stuff and just like, okay, well, it don't pertain to me or whatever. Some people don't even want to look in the book. They like, well, you know what I'm saying, it's a person that wrote it and stuff like this, you know what I'm talking about. But then they'll try to read stuff that's talking about the Dead Sea Scrolls and stuff like that, knowing the person wrote it. So it's showing that there is, you know what I'm saying, this is another reason why he will grant people to their own delusion, you know what I'm saying, because that's what they desire, right? So let me see here. So life comes through the faith, right? So we get life by the faith. So Romans 1:17, the righteous shall live by faith. You know what I'm saying? So faith is one of the things that keeps us alive. Faith is one of the things that we're able to live by. You have faith that you're going to wake up tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? People don't know that they operate in faith without operating in faith. You know what I'm saying? So many times you've had conversations with friends and family and stuff like that. And okay, well, I'll call you tomorrow, or I'll see you tomorrow, or whatever. Or when my paycheck comes next week, all type of stuff like that. This is that you have that faith in something that you cannot see, but you know it shall be. Right? So how crafty would it be for you to be tricked into not having faith in yourself to be able to achieve that thing or to reach that destination, you know what I'm talking about, that promised land that the Most High is going to take you through in your life, or take you to in your life, you know what I'm talking about. And just because it seems bigger than what you can perceive to be able to do it, you know what I'm saying? I don't have the perfect team. I don't have this. I don't got the tools and stuff like this for me to be at that position or to do whatever, you know what I'm saying? He said he's gonna give you the position. He didn't tell you how he's gonna give you the position. You don't got to worry about that. All that's for him. His thing is just know that it's gonna be. It's a promise that he's giving me inside of myself, you know what I'm saying? And this is why I don't fold. This is why many people they don't see it. They don't see what I see. And that's cool, because they're not living in me. They're not living in you. You know what I'm saying? So they can't see what you see. There's something that you know that you're supposed to be destined for. And people will tell you that, you know what I'm talking about, oh, well, you're not going to make it there because they've never tried it, or maybe they have tried it and they failed at it. So they feel like that because their way was the end all be all, that's not your path to walk. You don't wear the same size shoes that they walk. You don't wake up in the same bed that they wake up in, beloved. You know what I'm talking about? So guess what? You wake up in a whole different bed and you have a whole different life. You know what I'm saying? The pathway that you take might be different. They might have been trying to go to that pathway and that destination, you know what I'm saying, through the front door or whatever, but the front door was locked. You might be walking through the alley and then the fence is open, you know what I'm saying, and then the back door is unlocked for you to be able to go inside that destination or that house that's made for you. You know what I'm talking about? And the thing may be I guess the saying might be, you know what I'm saying, whoever can get into the house first that's their house, right? So the person is taking the common road and stuff like that, and what, you know, they think is working for them, but it don't work. So they'll tell you that you're not going to be able to do it. And you like, well, I just kind of like going up the alleyway. You know what I'm saying? You go up the alleyway, you know what I'm saying? Or it could be vice versa regardless, you know what I'm talking about. But it's just one of those things that it's a path. Your destination, your path, your walk is made for you to be able to get to where you need to get to, because you're walking a path that's preordained for you to be able to. Now you can have a choice. You know what I'm saying? You can mess around and not want to do the works. You can mess around and act like that you don't care about whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then now you have forfeited your destiny. You have forfeited, you know what I'm talking about, the gifts or the promised land, you know what I'm saying, that you're supposed to make it to, because you become stagnant in the complaining, the disbelief, the rebellion, and all this type of stuff, right? Which all takes energy. You know what I'm saying? So it's just on what type of energy do you want to give? Do you want to give energy that's going to allow you to go to the destination for real? You and accept whatever comes with it, and you know what I'm saying, stand 10 toes down through the storm, the muds, and you know what I'm saying, the tribulations and the rain and all this type of stuff, through the hardships, because love is long suffering. We are to be long suffering. For those who don't believe that long suffering, you have children or family and friends and stuff like that that you love. They might do things that irks you or whatever, but you love them. So you suffer longly through that thing. You know what I'm saying? You don't never just shut your love off. This is how we're able to apply that and to be able to have that and to operate into agape love. You know what I'm talking about? And to operate into the faction of the Most High. This is why I don't have no hatred towards people. Yeah, people do me wrong. Sometimes people, you know what I'm saying, they may piss me off a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I might get mad and feel some type of way. It's times that I'll be like, you know what I'm saying, well, dang, like, it's sad that they don't care about me, but I still pray for them and stuff like that. This is because I still pray for them. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not about that I feel, you know what I'm saying, some type of way about it. It's the fact that I still have that love to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Those who have done me wrong or whatever. And you have to realize that sometimes people will try to play and think that you're in naivety. You know what I'm saying? When you're not. When you see a lot of things, some people they can only understand you from the level that they have met themselves. I met so many people that think that, oh, they're getting over on me or whatever, and thinking that they slick talking and all this extra type of stuff. And it's like, no, I'm just a little bit more mature than you spiritually. You know what I'm saying? Because I see that I'm not going to do that to you. You know what I'm talking about? So while you thinking and you're boasting and everything like that, being boastful in your ways, you're not realizing that you really have somebody that's here that really love you. You know what I'm talking about? That'll go to war for you and yours, your family, your children and stuff like that really care about you for real. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that recognizes that, yeah, you make mistakes. You're not a perfect person, but I still love who you are. I still have nothing but respect for you. You know what I'm talking about? Even if you don't want to give it to me. But see, that's the thing, is that this is why it makes, you know what I'm saying, a person like myself and many who are like me, you know what I'm saying, because I'm like many other people as well, right? Is that makes the cutoff game strong. Because it's like, okay, well, I know my worth. You know what I'm saying? But you want to play, so I'm not going to keep throwing my pearls to swines. I was here to be a test for you. The Most High sent me in your life to be a test, to see what you would do. Because now if you can treat this person that is looked upon as a nobody, you know what I'm saying, with some type of respect or some type of form of love or admonition, you know what I'm saying, to edify them and help, you know what I'm saying, then guess what? I can give you more. But because you treated somebody, you prayed for a blessing, and I put a person that was supposed to be a blessing in your life, and you treated that person like it was nothing, then what more do you think I'm going to give you? You've been praying over here, you know what I'm saying, for a house when you live in an apartment and stuff like that. And I blessed you with somebody that has a house mentality that can be able to help you out with that. But yet, because you didn't unwrap the gifting that I give you in that person all the way, then now you have to stay stuck and stagnant into an apartment, and you will never be able to attain a house. You know what I'm saying? Unless you are open and receptive, and you know what I'm saying, you submit yourself and repent and humble yourself. You know what I'm talking about? You see? And that's how that works in life with many different things. It's not just, I just use me as an example. I'm not saying I'm just the, you know what I'm saying, end all be all. People get lost in all that. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm saying. However, what I'm saying is that there's many of y'all out there that have been blessed, that are blessed, and that y'all know y'all are good spirited, good hearted people. And so the Most High has placed y'all in many different people's lives and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, in order for two things to happen: for the person to be tested, and also for you to be tested, to see if you're going to fold, if you're going to turn into them. You know what I'm saying? But there's another reason why your season is still on the way. It's because you didn't fold. It's because you didn't choose to die in your wilderness. You didn't choose to be like, you know what, I'm going to turn into those that hurt me. You was like, it's got to be more than this. You know what I'm saying? Just because many people have scarred me and try to put keys in my knives in my back like a key to a car or whatever, and try to, you know what I'm saying, rev me up and turn me, you know what I'm saying, and let me loose and stuff like that, it didn't work. And so that's the thing, is that it shows that, you know what I'm saying, the enemy is like, well, dang, let me now try to do a different approach. You know what I'm saying? And those people that didn't know that they were being puppets for the enemy are not seeing that situation as, well, dang, well, you know, I did kind of want a little bit more, but I'm not able to get it because what? So the thing about it is, you have to realize that to let go of that if you've ever felt like that, dang, it's always like, I always gotta suffer. It's like the good always gotta, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's things that are made in order for us to be built. You know what I'm saying? We're not perfect people at all. You know what I'm saying? Just because you're good doesn't mean you're perfect. It just means that, you know what I'm saying, you're able to endure. The Most High chooses you to be able to utilize you to take you somewhere, because where he's going to take you, you know what I'm saying, he does not need you to be able to fold. You know what I'm talking about? He does not want it to be where anybody can come in and then, you know what I'm saying, break your faith, shake up your destiny, you know what I'm talking about, take you off your path, you know what I'm talking about, mess up your prayer life and all this type of stuff, because where he's taking you is to somewhere to where you have to make sure that you are for real battle tested. Because it's going to be battles, it's going to be new weapons that form at that level. You know what I'm saying? The destination is the destination, but it's not the end all be all. It's what you do in the destination and the imprints that you leave in that destination. You know what I'm talking about? That's going to be able to show that there's a gifting, how you use that gifting to give tribute to him, you know what I'm saying, and who all that you touch, you know what I'm saying, for that thing to live on. This is what a legacy really is. Because people want a legacy. A legacy is something that surpasses you, something that lives past you. A legacy and a lineage. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing, right? So, where's the other one? Is that, let me see here. So, Hebrews 11:1. Hebrews 11:1-3 is basically saying that faith, you know what I'm saying, confides in what we hope for, and assurance about what we do not see. You know what I'm saying? And so, because I was speaking about, you know what I'm saying, life and faith, you know what I'm talking about? And so life and faith is also confidence. You know what I'm saying? That's another part of the reason why I brought that verse up, is because you're confident that you're going to make it to tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is really saying, you know, y'all willing that I see tomorrow and stuff like that. So many people's like, okay, see you on the next one. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's like, see you on the next one, y'all willing, or I see you tomorrow, y'all willing, or, you know what I'm saying? So that's the thing, is that you have that confidence. So the thing about it is, these are just tools to help you fine tune. I've seen somebody that was like, you know what I'm saying? They were like that basically, you know what I'm saying? There are some things that you can look up, you know what I'm talking about, and be able to find this. So therefore, why even contribute to a person that, you know what I'm saying, that they can easily just find whatever. Some of this stuff that people like myself have overcame in life is not something that you can look up on a database. You know what I'm saying? It's the experience. That's the thing about it. This is why it says in the scripture that, you know what I'm saying, if there's to sow into those, if there's any thing that you have gotten, you know what I'm saying. Let me go to the verse. Because I don't want to paraphrase it. There we go. So it's 1 Corinthians 9:11. And it says that we have sown unto you spiritual things. It is a great thing that if we reap your carnal things, right? If others be partakers of the powers over you, you know what I'm saying, we I'm sorry, Salakia. If others be partakers of the powers over you, are not we rather? You know what I'm saying? So it's basically showing that, you know what I'm saying, if a person is sowing into you and there's things that you are able to get and you get some type of form of growth, it can be inspirational, whatever, not something that you can just easily, you know what I'm saying, find on a database, you know what I'm saying, it's really experiences and testimonies and stuff like that, then it's like, you know what I'm saying, that you reap into those people, you know what I'm talking about. That's the thing, is that you reap into it carnally, right? And so I'm saying that to say, because like I said, there was a person that was like, you know, why should we basically, you know what I'm saying, pour into or help a person grow and build, you know what I'm saying, into their whatever, if it's we can easily find this information, you know what I'm saying. Some stuff is not found, it's not easily accessible. That's the thing, is that there are people that, you know what I'm saying, but it's because also we have been groomed into, you know what I'm saying, the false factions of the ideology of a false conscious, you know what I'm talking about, community, to where everybody is just like they only sow into those that, you know what I'm saying, that is already like at a plateau. So it's like, you know what I'm saying, they will mess around and I'm not trying to shade or whatever, but I'm gonna say because I speak my mind regardless. So it's like there'll be people that mess around and they can sow into like a Umar, you know what I'm saying, Dr. Umar Johnson or whatever, right? But yet the school is still not built, you know what I'm saying? And so in the back of their mind, their subconscious, they're thinking that, you know what I'm saying, oh well, this is how everybody is, you know what I'm saying? But yet they'll still pour into these type of people who's really not trying to do anything, you know what I'm saying, who's pushing the narrative of Pan-Africanism and stuff like that, which is not really conducive. Now, I'm not saying that there are not, you know what I'm saying, melanated Americans who are not African lineage, you know what I'm talking about, because if we, and I'll do this on a different, but if we go deep into, you know what I'm saying, the Hebrew tribes, and we know that, you know what I'm saying, there's a lost tribe in Africa, you know what I'm talking about, which is the Igbo people, which the Hebrew language and stuff is very similar to those people. So we know it to be facts and truth, right? So it's not about a American, you know what I'm saying, American Melanite person, you know what I'm talking about, against an African person. That's not what that's about. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, though, is that there are people that are staged to try to mislead people, you know what I'm saying, but they use it within the conscious community to make people feel like that there's a form of whatever. But as we see that some of those things that these people have said and done and stuff like that has not really helped too many people grow, you know what I'm saying, in the righteous direction. And so this is why there's like a dividing, you know what I'm talking about, of the wheat versus the tares. Like I said, I'm not bashing anybody or nothing like that. If that's what he believes, that's what he believes and stuff like that. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things though that many are so lost into certain things, and then they're not realizing, you know what I'm saying, that where the seed has been rooted, you know what I'm saying. This is why it's scripture that we're supposed to uproot certain things. But how can we uproot something if we don't know what it is to uproot? You see? And so that's not something that's just supposed to be something that goes over this is not something that can just be in just one sitting, because there's spiritual milk, there's spiritual meat, you know what I'm saying, that's all in this thing that I'm speaking about, you know what I'm talking about. And so this is another reason why it spreads, why we have to kind of stretch it, you know what I'm talking about, to wing, because we speak to many different people at many different levels, you know what I'm saying. And that's why I'm not a person that people will hear what I say and think that I'm being judgmental of certain things, and it's not that, you know what I'm talking about. I used to follow people that, you know what I'm saying, was doing the things with the tarot and stuff like that and everything, but I ended up with, like, you know what, as I started growing in life, you know what I'm saying, years ago I started growing, it was like, you know, this ain't really what that, so I leave it alone, you know what I'm saying. And I'm not just saying just that one thing and just pointing at that, but it's many other things, you know what I'm talking about. I was a person that was into the comedic sciences and stuff like that. I come from many different walks in my life, you know what I'm talking about, but I've come into the fullness of where I'm supposed to be, you know what I'm saying. And this is why I'm able to speak on so many different levels. This is why there'll be people that'll be like, oh, they look at it from just what they see me as right now, and they're like, okay, well, you don't know anything about this. But then whenever we have a conversation, then I'm explaining to them about that whole situation, and then going a little bit deeper, and they're like, oh, well, dang, wait a minute. It's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, I didn't just reach this destination, you know what I'm talking about, just because of something that other people is doing. You know what I'm talking about? I followed the steps. I followed, you know what I'm saying, the voice that was given to me on my path that was teaching me certain things. And the reason why I had to go through those things, you know what I'm talking about, is in order for me to be able to reach many different people. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I'm not looking at it as, because people, they feel like that. And I'll talk about as far as with the church will be like, we only care about just those who we feel like that deserve saving. You know what I'm saying? Instead of realizing that there's a lot of people that deserve saving. So what does deserve saving look like? You know what I'm saying? Is it because they come from a crisp, clean background, because they never done drugs, they've never been an addict before, because they got tattoos, or because they dabble into, you know what I'm saying, certain practices, because they do tarot or whatever, or because they operate in, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, because they operate in EFA and all this type of stuff? Is that why that you feel like that these are not people who look like they deserve to be saved? You know what I'm saying? You going to the ones that because you are not scared of these people. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, I'm not really scared. They don't pose a threat to me, so therefore these are the people that I just want to. That's not how you that's not how you really is supposed to be out here trying to really, you know what I'm saying, help save people. 2 people drown. One of them looks like a criminal, and the other one looks like an upstanding citizen. Which one do you save? You see that? The answer that you give determines, you know what I'm saying, the type of person you are. Some people, you try to save both. If you can't, you know what I'm saying, then what? You thinking that, oh, because the one looks like a criminal, I won't save them? Well, let me tell you this, right? The reason I said that, use that analogy, is because the one that looks like a criminal, you know what I'm saying, is actually a righteous person. You know what I'm talking about? And the one that looks like that they're an upstanding citizen is actually a murderer, a rapist. You know what I'm talking about? And so that's the reason why it says that we're supposed to be able to judge by the heart. We judge by the heart. In the midst of certain things that happen, we are not able to see who's who, because you hadn't spent time with these people to know where their heart is. This is why I say what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's people that they get offended and all this type of stuff, but that, as they should be. Your toe should feel a little stepped on, you know what I'm saying? Because the Holy Spirit is a double-edged sword. It cuts both ways. As many times I've spoken on things and I've cut myself. It's supposed to be that way. That cutting is coming from conviction. That cutting is cutting from a thing that's supposed to show you that it's something that's supposed to be cut off of you. You know what I'm talking about? Via the circumcision of the spirit, in order for you to be able to grow. So that way, you know what I'm saying, whenever that sword is swung, it's not cutting you. You know what I'm talking about? It's only supposed to cut those things that are not of the Most High. People associate the cuts of the things being, you know what I'm saying, who they are. Oh, it cut me and made me mad and stuff like that, is because I don't want to let go of what it cut me at, instead of realizing that thing is not you. So just let it go. It's just that simple. You know, so some people don't see it as that. But that's why, you know what I'm saying, we have to operate and we have to go through and grow through the things in our lives in order for us to make it to a certain point, you know what I'm saying, for us to be able to give an upstanding testimony, you know what I'm talking about, to be able to be beacons of light to one another, you know what I'm talking about, to be able to encourage and edify each other, to be like, oh, you can be that same light, you know what I'm saying. Nobody is gatekeeping the light. Many people try to, you know what I'm talking about. And then people that try to gatekeep the light and all this type of stuff operate in forms of, you know what I'm saying, demonic sorcery, witchcraft, and all this type of stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Illuminati, occultic, Gnosticism, and all this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying. It's only because they want a quick buck from you. They want you to support what they got, so you can come into agreement with the spirits that operate behind them. You know what I'm talking about. In order for the world to stay the way that it is. So many people will talk about that that authenticity is the higher frequency than love, right? And the thing that's funny is that if you don't love yourself, how will you able to operate in authenticity? It doesn't make sense. It's just that type of stuff. But this goes into what we were talking about, you know what I'm saying, forever seeking knowledge but never be able to come into the form of the truth, you know what I'm talking about, which is in Matthew, in Timothy, 2 Timothy, right? Is always forever seeking for knowledge but never coming into, you know what I'm saying, the understanding of the truth. That's what that is. This is what this conscious community, or this, you know what I'm saying, matrix and stuff like that, and this defective programming, you know what I'm talking about, those things that we hold on to and try to identify those things with us, right? Is that, now there was something I was supposed to say earlier, and I was going to say it, and I said, and I think I got lost in saying, you know what I'm saying, so I didn't get to say that point when I said that I was going to wait till I get to a higher plateau to give this jewel or this gem, you know what I'm saying. The jewel and the gem is this, is that many people don't know where they want to go. They don't know who they are, you know what I'm talking about. And then there's people that know who they are. And so those people that know who they are and stuff like that, those who are not righteous, they capitalize off of the fact that people don't really know who they are. This is why they put those people on stage as influencers and stuff like that. If you don't really get that's a gem for real, then you don't see it for what it is. But those who really see it for really what it is, like, oh dang, that's because it's a gem for real. If you don't know who you are, then I can capitalize off of making you think that you are who you are, or making you think that you are nobody. That's manipulation. That's witchcraft. You see that? That's how they work in relationships. That's how they work in office spaces and stuff like that, businesses and stuff like that. Sell you something that you really don't need. You know what I'm talking about? Instead of really trying to give you something, a piece of you back to you. That's the main thing. The Most High the Most High embodies us all. We all have a form of the Most High inside of us. This is why it says having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. Right? So in that wilderness, knowing that you are of God, that you are of the Most High, that you are of Elohim. You know what I'm talking about? So this means that because you have that inside yourself, then it's just giving you a piece of you back to you. Instead of telling you that you don't have this, or that you not, and you know what I'm saying, so now let me try to capitalize off of you and stuff like that. But that's another reason, you know what I'm talking about, why like those who are really you know what I'm saying, trying to operate off of righteousness, you know what I'm saying, who are really walking the walk for real, aside from those who just want to showboat it and make it seem like, you know what I'm saying, those people want to get paid off of all that, you know what I'm saying. There's people like myself and many other people that, you know what I'm saying, we're in your friends list, or we're your friends, or we're your family and stuff like that, but you don't want to, because you like, well, nah, I don't, you know, and that's fine. But the thing about it is the Most High will work through those that, you know what I'm saying, can be complete strangers. And I only say that because I'm saying that to inspire other people that feel like that, you know what I'm saying, because at this point, I don't care about, you know what I'm saying, hey, it's cool. I don't have to be supported by, you know what I'm saying, family and all this type of stuff. That's cool, because I know my supporting is going to come from the Most High. I know that whenever that thing happens, it's going to be, you know what I'm saying, and that's the thing about it. It might not come this season. It can come in 10 years, you know what I'm saying. I know it's coming. You have to have that type of faith, that type of confidence. Because in the midst of it, you know what I'm saying, you knowing that it's going to come, then so shall it be for real. You know what I'm saying? Because you are touching in agreement. You are touching and agreeing, you know what I'm saying, with the Most High, as He already gave you the promise. So you're touching and agreeing there, you know what I'm talking about? And then the fact that you are professing it, you know what I'm saying? There are angels amidst you, you know what I'm saying? They're standing in agreement. So therefore, even if you don't have anybody standing in agreement with you, you know what I'm talking about, there you have an assembly of people that are standing in agreement. So He said that two or three should stand in agreement. He didn't say 2 or 3 people. You know what I'm saying? He said 2 or 3. So that can mean, you know what I'm saying, celestial bodies in a physical body. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. So just be encouraged, you know what I'm talking about. Don't let nobody, you know what I'm saying, or don't allow nobody to keep you stagnant in your wilderness, and don't keep yourself stagnant in the wilderness. You know what I'm saying? There's one thing I had posted on my profile. Let me go to it really quick, and I want to read this thing that I had posted, right? Because it's very powerful. And it says, there will always be someone who can't see your worth. Don't let it be you. I'll say that again. There will always be someone who doesn't see your worth. Don't let it be you. So don't get stuck in the wilderness. Don't get stuck in your wilderness. You know what I'm saying? Stop touching and agreeing with everything that's not for you. You know what I'm talking about? You know, sometimes you want to, you desire to try to connect to things outside of you and stuff like that, and feel like that you want to be able to know when coming and what's coming and stuff like that. Sometimes it's not meant for you to know, because he wants to know if you're gonna still do what you need to be able to do. You know what I'm talking about? In the midst of you not knowing, because that's working in the faith, things that you can't see. This is why those familiar spirits and sorcerers and warlocks and witches and stuff like that do different things, you know what I'm talking about, in that type of manner to try to get you to. And then once you come into agreement with it, that's why those things work in your life. You know how many people is try to foretell things against me, or well, you're gonna fail, you're gonna die, and all this type of stuff, and here I am living. What you mean? Like, you're gonna get sick and you're gonna get into a car wreck, and I haven't had a car wreck. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sick. So what you mean? You see that? But that's because you're trying to give access to these demonic entities and stuff like that. You got to be careful when doing that. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to post some things that talk about ex-tarot readers and ex-witches. Because I've posted before about ex-witches and stuff like that and ex-warlocks. And people don't take heed to it. Because one thing about it is that within the faith comes repetition. You know what I'm saying? Continuously being able to, because it's going to, you have to continuously say certain things and show, because the things that we have, you know what I'm saying, that are spiritual parasites inside of us have to be, they have taken time, you know what I'm saying, to be rooted inside of us, you know what I'm saying. So it's been through programming, just program after program after program. And so, you know what I'm saying, it takes a while in order for us to get those things out. So it has to be the same way on the opposite side, you know what I'm saying, on the positive side. You know what I'm talking about? You have to have things to be able to speak life and affirming, and that's why edification and loving and kindness and stuff like that. It's not we just loving and kindness each other just one day. It's supposed to be day after day after day. You know what I'm saying? Till it gets to repetition. Because as we do it, then the more people get inspired and influenced, and then they're able to speak life into themselves and their situations and allow the Most High to work through them. You know what I'm saying? They won't have to, it's not a thing that a person is trying to place themselves into being the oh, I'm the person that you come to for this. That's not the thing. The thing is, I'm just a beacon. I'm a weapon and an instrument, a tool that's used, you know what I'm talking about, to guide you to the direction of where you're gonna, because you're able to do the same thing that I can do. You know what I'm saying? But you have to really do the work in yourself in order for you to really be able to change. Because there's many people, like I said, I've said this in my last video, is that, yeah, there's things I can speak on and teach on, most definitely, you know what I'm saying? But there's also, I'm also a person that's humble, and I learn from other people as well. You know what I'm saying? So I'm also a student as well. I don't have any issue with sitting and allowing somebody to teach and just be like, okay, I might give some pointers and insights, not pointers, but I might give insight and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, of my experience and stuff like that. But I don't ever try to just overshadow and take over somebody's. That's not me. My thing is, okay, well, hey, I'm gonna learn from you. You know what I'm saying? I can learn from a baby. I can learn from creation, from animals, creatures. You know what I'm saying? Life experiences or experiences of others. You know what I'm saying? Everything is a teachable moment. You know what I'm talking about? It's only if you're willing to learn. But, you know, so with that, I don't want to get too, I'm pretty sure it's been maybe 2 hours or something like that. But just be encouraged. Like, don't allow anybody to, like I said, I'm gonna keep saying it. Don't allow anybody to stagnate you, and don't die in your wilderness. Those things are temporary. The things that you feel like is hard for you to overcome, those things are not you. You have to learn to let those things go. How will you be able to let those things go? Go ahead and pray, you know what I'm saying? Pray to the Father for real, you know what I'm talking about? Ask him for real, you know what I'm saying? Open up his scripture, look into his word and see, you know what I'm talking about? Even if you're scared to open up the scriptures, right? You can really pray to him and ask him to show you. There's things that your spirit is actually, you know what I'm saying, making intercession for you about from those words that you can't even utter. You know what I'm saying? So he already has a provision for you. All he wants you to do is just make a step towards him, and then he'll show you. You can pray about something, and he'll mess around and have multiple different people tell you the same thing, and they don't even know each other. And then you looking at it as, oh, well, dang, this is a sign. Or somebody can tell you something. It might not even be a person. You might hear something on the radio that just does something, and then you like, well, nah. And then you end up walking in the store, and then there's something on over the intercom that says something that aligns with what you heard on the radio. You know what I'm saying? Or a song or whatever. He can do in so many different ways. He is not a limited Elohim. You know what I'm talking about? He is not a limited allure. You know what I'm talking about? He is very limitless. And so are you. So stop limiting yourselves. Don't allow yourself to be stuck into the wilderness, and don't die in your wilderness. You know what I'm saying? So just be encouraged. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all time and everything like that. I'm proud of y'all for waking up. If y'all have woken up, you know what I'm saying, and y'all have made another day to be able to thrive towards greater, you know what I'm saying, I'm proud of y'all most definitely. You know what I'm saying? Just as you have breath in your lungs, and you have, you know what I'm saying, a mind that can work, that can function. You have limbs that can function. Even if you don't have certain limbs or whatever, you know what I'm saying, you still have life and you still have mobility. Even if you don't have mobility, you still have a mind that works. You still have, you know what I'm saying, consciousness, you know what I'm saying, to be able to be aware of things that happen. There are things that is working around you. You know what I'm talking about? You could be somewhere where nobody knows you, and that nobody's even able to cater to you. You know what I'm talking about? Where you don't have anything, you know what I'm saying? But yet you have something. So there's always something to be appreciative of, you know what I'm talking about, and grateful for. You know what I'm saying? You have clothes on your back, a roof over your head, you know what I'm talking about, shoes on your feet. You have a soul in your body, you know what I'm talking about, breath in your lungs, you know what I'm saying? Be great. Be happy. Be rejoiceful. Stop worrying about everybody else, you know what I'm talking about? You can't know what to eat off your plate, you know what I'm talking about, if you're looking at somebody else's plate. Just know that your plate is a good one. You got other people that you might be looking at somebody else's plate, and somebody looking at your plate, you know what I'm saying, scheming on what they want to pick off your plate, not knowing that what you got on your plate is a delicacy, but you don't think it is because you know. So just be encouraged. I love y'all. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. You know what I'm talking about. You know, to those who naysayers and haters, keep watching, you know what I'm saying, keep getting your toes stepped on, you know what I'm talking about. Hopefully you'll come into the truth, and that you'll be able to be a powerful, you know what I'm saying, warrior that stands on the front line with the rest of us, you know what I'm talking about, against the camps of the enemy. Because you know how much more powerful you will be on the team of righteousness, for real. Like, you've already dabbled in a lot of things that the enemy has taught you and trained you in. So imagine how much more powerful that you would be, you know what I'm talking about, in slaying them same demons that you was rocking side by side with, that didn't care about you. Because now you know secrets behind the walls of the enemy. Imagine what's more a bigger threat that you would be, you know what I'm talking about, aside from the enemy that just continuously lie to you and tell you to stay into that false thing, you know what I'm talking about, false ideologies and stuff. But you know what I'm saying, with that I bid adieu. Shalom, beloveds. I love y'all. The Most High loves you even more. Keep that in mind. Love yourself and stop giving up on yourself. Make it to your destiny and make it to the promised land. Don't die in your wilderness. Shalom.